So I typically use a Tormek to do most of my sharpening. I love these machines. They're great, super reliable. They're expensive though. So I went out and bought one of these Grizzly 10-inch wet grinders to see how it does. Let's take a look at unboxing it and see how it performs. Alright, let's unbox this Grizzly wet grinder. Never used one of these before. I did previously buy a Wen machine, and that thing was a piece of crap. I threw it away almost immediately, or not threw it away, gave it away almost immediately just because it was such a, didn't work very well. It had rubber or plastic gears inside of it that would probably wear out pretty quickly, and just didn't like the feel of it. So Grizzly sends you a stone. We use mostly a silicone black stone, so I don't even know if I use that. They send us looks like an angle setter. Don't think I'll probably be using that. Looks like some honing paste. Couple of screws. The jig's kind of cheap compared to the Tormek one, but really I'm mostly interested in the machine, so probably won't use a lot of this stuff. Got a USB bar. This bar is not nearly as finished as the Tormek one. Looks like kind of a slightly lower grade, maybe galvanized metal. I'm not sure if the Tormek ones will fit in here, but probably will end up giving that a try. Alright, pull this guy out. Well, here it is. You know, when I first saw it online, I thought that this casing was going to be metal. It looked like it was metal online, but it's plastic, kind of less pressed than the other Grizzly products I've had in the past. And the tray sits there. And I'll just turn this around this way. Kind of neat thing about it does have variable speed, so we'll see how that works. But it does feel kind of cheap. But let's throw a wheel on here. Tormek has kind of a nice, it's like a single screw that goes on for the wheel. Just a kind of a standard bolt and washer. Throw this wheel on here. The tray isn't for this thing isn't nearly as deep as the Tormek one, so let's see how well it does. And you kind of have to manually stick it in. The Tormek has a little knob that you use to move the tray up and down. Plug's tucked inside here. Unlike the Wen one that I had, this one is, you can see into the motor in there, which is kind of nice. It's a drive that runs this drive wheel. And let's see, it uses the same kind of, I can't get in there right away, but I think it probably uses the same kind of mechanism that Tormek uses to run theirs. This guy in. All right, give it a shot. tighten this guy up a little bit. Let's do that. The trick with the Tormek ones is that you just basically will run these in opposite directions to tighten it up. Not sure what's going on here. Seems like the drive wheel is maybe not strong enough for it to be able to turn the wheel. Let's see what's going on inside here, see what that drive wheel looks like. If I can get to it. Well, you kind of see what's going on here. You kind of hear the motor struggle a little bit. It's got a smaller diameter metal drive wheel for this rubber, which I think means it's probably going to be spinning a little faster. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it doesn't feel like it's got as much power as the Tormek has. You know, I can almost stop this, and you can kind of hear it kind of struggle when you apply some torque to it. So anyway, I'll give another update. But so far, I'm not super impressed. But you know, for a couple $100, you know, maybe it's a good backup. Maybe it's a good backup machine, and gives us a way to maybe throw a couple of other wheels on, so I don't have to do any wheel switching. So I'll probably will use this maybe for like the Japanese whetstone or something like that, where I'm not applying a whole lot of pressure, and I'm not using it nearly as frequently. So we'll see how it goes. I'll do another update sometime soon. One more update here. I'm going to look at the underneath of this and the bottom of it, and there's a knob on the other side over here that lets you set the tension of the drive wheel. So actually I kind of like that, because the issue I was just talking about where it wasn't driving very well, I think that actually resolved it by adjusting that. So it's actually kind of a nice little feature, something that maybe Tormek could think about. And let's give it another shot. And then the variable speed is also something I wanted to show. So it goes down to pretty slow. So what does it say? It says 90 RPMs to 150. So that might be nice if you're trying to sharpen, or you're getting water on yourself and you want to be able to slow it down a little bit, do some kind of little adjustments. Anyway, that's that. We'll see how it works in production. So I found a slight issue with trying to run Tormek wheels on the Grizzly machine, is that the Arbors are different sizes slightly. So I think I'm going to have to probably will have to grind down this Arbor so that the Tormek wheels will fit on it. So getting one of these, thinking that you can use your Grizzly or your Tormek wheels, just know that you're going to have to do some work to get this Arbor to be the same size as the holes that are on the Tormek wheels. I think it's probably a metric versus English system. So I'm just looking at the wheel bore is 1/2 inch, and I think the Tormeks are 12 millimeters or 10 millimeters. I think 12 millimeters. So anyway, that's kind of an issue, but it's solvable just by getting some sandpaper and turning this on and letting it run for a while and getting it down to where it'll fit. Anyway, thanks.